So today we're going to talk a little bit about the book of Devarim. So just a little introduction.
After that introduction.
There's so much to talk about.
I know. We could have
Just
gotten more.
inroads and more inroads.
We could have gotten more. Like I actually had a question before you get into
yes,
Sefer
go ahead.
Devarim. When you were talking about how the church wanted to exterminate the Jews, for lack of a better term, get rid of them, destroy them, really.
Because we're stubborn.
That jealous, that hatred, right? It took me back to what you brought up in the beginning, right, with the word religion. Like, it was something that they tried to manifest themselves and continuously, and then didn't stop, right? So it just made me think of that, and in a way, also talking again, connecting the mitzvot to it as well, right? Where in Christianity, it's really more about the spirit of the law, right?
Not the practice.
Not the practice of the law, or not the letter, right? It's more about, so the meaning, to find meaning in a system like that, it's so lofty and so challenging that you need to go to someone to tell you what that meaning is if you really think about it. Yeah. But God, on the flip, as the Torah, is telling you, here are the 613 mitzvot to you, Am Yisrael. I'm instructing you on what it is. You don't need someone to tell you what your meaning will be, because now you have a system of what to follow. And this is something that you agreed to as well. And through that, you're now able to generate meaning within your own lives and figure it out for yourself.
Both on a personal and a national scale.
Exactly.
It's both.
And I think that's ultimately going to connect with Sefer Devarim, with what Moshe is really trying to portray to Am Yisrael before they enter Eretz Yisrael. So, yeah.
So the fifth book of the Chumash, Devarim, is extremely different than the other books. It's a recap. A lot of it is a recap of many experiences. It even goes back to pre-Exodus experience, because it mentions the forefathers often, always. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov, what he did to them, the promise. It goes over and over and over again. It introduces us to about there's 175 mitzvot referenced in the book of Devarim also, that are not referenced in the other books, okay? It doesn't mean that they were given at the end. It just basically means it's written at the end, okay? Because we said that it was transmitted to the Jewish people at Sinai and through the course of the journey, okay? Now, the style of the book, if we compare it to the other books, it's completely different. There are resemblances here and there, certain paragraphs that are like the other ones, but as a bulk, it's very different. This is Moshe's oration. He is the master orator. He is the master of language. And reading it in English, in Spanish, and German, whatever you want, absolutely does zero justice to how it's written in the Hebrew. If you read it in the Hebrew, it is absolutely one of the most eloquent pieces of written word you will ever read. Ever. Sometimes when I read parts of it in the synagogue, I'm very moved by it to tears. I sometimes have to stop because it's so, the words are so powerful. They evoke so much emotion, so much care, so much concern that Moshe has for the Jewish people, which is unbelievable. He wants them to succeed so badly. He knows that they're going to have failures and challenges, and he gives them the formula, the solution, how to deal with them, how to even avoid them. He gives them precautions. He's going to tell them, he's telling them what's going to happen when you're going to go in. The influences that are all going, they're all going to be there. How are you going to manage them not affecting you, not selling out your children, your grandchildren, your property, your values, your God who took you out of Egypt, who took care of you for 40 years, like a father carrying his son in his arms with care and kindness. So much of this. So much of it. And again, reading it really in the Hebrew is mind-blowing. It really is. And some people say, no, he didn't write it because it's different than the other ones. We have to understand something very important. The other ones are not orations. No, they're more dictated. Okay? The other ones are more about God's expression. Here, it's more about Moshe's expression. Of course, it's with the consent of God, but it's Moshe who is evoking his emotions and feelings in the text.
Why? Why is there one book dedicated to this? What did you think? Because up until this point in time, the Torah is about narrative law. So this book, it sticks out.
Yeah.
Why even have it a part of the corpus?
We have the laws, we have the narratives. What does it all mean? What is the purpose of all of it? And Sefer Devarim puts the plan ahead of how to be able to succeed in the land of Israel in the course of history and time. And one time one of my students asked me, if you can just give me one chapter, one portion that I'll read in the Torah and give me the whole synopsis, what would it be? I told him Parashat Vaythanan, the second parasha of the book of Devarim. You want the whole synopsis of Judaism? You read that parasha. Take away a couple of paragraphs even that happen to be something that Moshe says to establish cities of refuge. Take that away. Right. If you want to, just give me that, the synopsis of a diagram of what this whole thing is really about, that parasha. It has so many fundamentals of Judaism in there. It speaks about our past. It speaks about their present. It speaks about the future. It speaks about responsibilities. It speaks about our relationship with God. It speaks about how does God view us? Who are we to Him? Not only who He is to us, who are we to Him? Banim atem l'Adonai Elohechem. You are children of God. So it really has very, very powerful. One of the reasons why even the language is different. The formation of the pesukim, the phraseologies, are different than the rest. This book is an accumulation of 40 years of a journey of the greatest educational system a generation ever received by someone. Moshe. Moshe is the teacher. He is the teacher. Rabbeinu, he's our man, he's our teacher. And after 40 years of him teaching, not only the Torah, other things that has to be going on. Perspectives, different wisdoms, different histories, different narratives, different stories, whatever it is, dialogue, this conversation is going on for 40 years. The language evolved even. The use of language evolved, as well as the audience evolved. He's not talking to the people who left Egypt anymore. No, this is a completely different species in a sense. So he's talking to them on a completely different level, on a very elevated level than how he spoke to their parents. Mm-hmm. So that's why, of course, the language has to be different. He can't speak to them the same way. No.